going on, man? Today is April the 11th, 2024. Today, it's your boy Chris, and this is the ChrisBeCappinn NBA Show. We're live on Twitter. We're also live on YouTube as well. Top of the morning to everybody in the chat. What up, El Boogie? Prince Paul, Jake Chip says, great call on that Dallas pick. Cashed the Dallas first half and full game of plus 100 yesterday. Love to see it there. We got some meaningless basketball, and we also got some meaningful basketball here today in the NBA. It's very got to be very selective with your picks, I think, in most of these games. And you also got to know the motivation for these teams. Unfortunately, a lot of these lines have moved, and I told you guys yesterday I wasn't doing a show in the evening because celebrating my birthday. Not my birthday. I celebrated my son's birthday, and that put me behind a little bit. So I ain't gonna lie to you guys, especially the ChrisBeCappinn community, like the members. I didn't get my work done as early as I should have, and of course, a lot of these lines have moved. Specifically, two of these games that I think are absolute. Like I think it's two plays that you should have made yesterday for today's slate, but the lines have moved a lot. With that being said, I still think it's a couple spots on the board. But in full transparency, and the members know, I haven't played anything because I haven't given anything out. So let's jump into it for today. We are coming off a 1-0 day yesterday. Mavs minus 2.5 is what I sent out. I told you guys I would still take it yesterday when we started the show. I know there's a lot of concerns about if Luka and Kyrie were going to play, and both of them ended up playing. And that wasn't the point to me. The point was that Miami was in the fifth game in 7 nights, and they were coming off a double overtime game. That's typically always a fade spot, about 70%. I think a couple of trends I looked at. So with the Mavs yesterday, that does make us 4-1 in our last 5 plays, and brings us back over 40 units. So hopefully we can stay there and only go north and not go south anymore this season. That'd be great. Like I said, the goal was still to get to about 60 units, and we got 2 or 3 days left in the regular season, and we got all the playoffs where we get some very, very meaningful basketball. All the plays are posted in YouTube, and you can go through and track all of them if you're a member. And I got a spreadsheet too. So let's jump into it for today, man. We got the Bulls and the Pistons first. So game will be played in Detroit. You got a Bulls team I'm not sure what to do with the Bulls, man. This team doesn't feel like they want to win when you look at, who is it? Torrey Craig throwing alley-oops off the backboard. And him and Drummond kind of running into each other. They were called out by Coach Billy Donovan for that after timeout or whatever. But the Bulls, they're in the play-in, with the Atlanta Hawks for people that are paying attention in the to the Eastern Conference. And it's still kind of undecided. Chicago is a game and a half ahead of Atlanta with 3 games left. So there is a way that Atlanta could still host a play-in tournament and not have to go to Chicago. However, both of the teams are 0-6 in their last 6 games. So neither one of these teams look like they really want to win basketball games. And now you got them laying 9.5 in Detroit, which they lost to the Detroit Pistons the last time that they played. Real quick, let me see if I can pull that up. I want to say they were getting 10 points. They won the game outright as 10-point dogs in that last game in Detroit, I think is what I saw. Let me just double check it. Yeah, they were getting 10 points, and this was on February 27th. Detroit won the game 105-95. That's what you expect from this Chicago Bulls team. They've been so Jekyll and Hyde that I can't lay 10 points with them on the road. They do have Ayo DeSumo listed as questionable. Caruso looks like he's going to play. For Detroit, Cade Cunningham listed as questionable with the knee injury management. I think Cade probably rests in this game again. He's missed the last 3 in a row. Detroit don't have anything to play for. Chicago don't have. I mean, they got something to play for, but do they really want to play for it? Like I said, this team has not been good lately. Lost 2 in a row, 3 of their last 7. Like this does not feel like a team I want to lay, close to double digits with on the road here. Chicago is 1 day's rest. This is the first leg of a back-to-back. They got the Wizards tomorrow. And for Detroit, this will be their last home game. So they're coming back home off a 4-game road trip. They've actually played 7 of their last 8 games on the road. And it's the first leg of a back-to-back with the Mavs tomorrow. So last home game of the regular season. Maybe they want to get up and could potentially keep this one close for the fans. But I can't. I know I can't get there with Chicago. I just feel like the numbers are a tad bit too big. Now, can they come out here and play really, really well? Absolutely. But you got Drummond. I forgot to mention this. Drummond also listed as questionable. He stepped on somebody's ankle in that last game, and I don't think he returned in that game. So I guess if I had to play this one, I would be looking at man, honestly, I don't even want to give you guys a strong opinion on this game. Like, this is a game I'm probably just gonna pass on. But Detroit last game at the crib, I could see, them potentially keeping the game close. I'll say that. That's what I'll say to you guys. I'm not. I know it's a game I'm probably not gonna play. As far as the total, I did want to get there with the over. I think, Chicago may not be super like locked into this game, and Detroit's defense has been not the greatest either. I mean, they can't stop anybody. So I guess I would look a little bit more towards. I want to play the over, but I'm not going to get involved on the total either. I don't really have, really deep thoughts, and I do think that you want to check out if K's playing. That does tell me that they potentially, want to keep the game close. Real quick. So Detroit has 13 wins on the season. And the Wizards have 15 wins on the season. San Antonio Spurs now have 20 wins on the season. So Detroit could potentially come out here and try to keep this game, respectable and win in their last home game. But it's not anything I'm putting my money on. If I had to play it, though, it would be Detroit plus the points, not laying double digits on the road with the Chicago Bulls. Let's see what you guys are seeing in this one. What up, Will? He says, rise and grind, kings and queens. Hit that like button and less cash. Appreciate that. Joel says, solid Dallas pick. How were the other picks yesterday? That's the only thing I played, Joel. Only thing I played. I know I talked about not trusting Atlanta. And Chicago, Charlotte cash, that was pretty easy. They won the game outright. I was only taking the 10.5 with them, but I didn't bet that game. I told you guys it was a Phoenix spot. Phoenix ended up getting the job done full game, even though they did struggle. It took into the fourth quarter for them to pull away. And, of course, Denver did what Denver does, man. Hot take. I think Denver wins the championship again. I know Boston is good and elite, but I think to beat the best, you got to beat the best. So to be the best, you got to beat the best. And I don't think Denver's going out. Like, I know that they, aren't necessarily the strongest team like they were last year, but you still got to deal with Jokic and Murray in the playoffs. So hot take for you guys. Denver, I think, still win the championship. I didn't bet it yet, though. Jamie says Kyrie got a $1 million bonus for that win. Jesus, that's why he played yesterday. That makes a lot of sense if that's true. What up, Brian? He says, good morning, Chris. Chicago spot, 9.5 might be too many, though. I agree. I definitely agree. What up, Chief Zulu? Justin, my guy, he says, I told y'all Hornets money line yesterday. I don't remember you saying that, but I'm glad you cashed it. What up, Justin? And then Bond says, are the Pistons going to be motivated for this game? So I think there's some merit, I think, Bond, into teams coming playing their last home game. You kind of want to, give the fans something for the following season. And Detroit's been god awful, so I can see them, trying to go out with a bang here. Detroit got a couple games left. Like I said, they play in Dallas tomorrow. They probably get smoked in that game, even by Dallas bench players. But and then they finish the season off on Sunday in San Antonio. So I think there's something to you want to give some effort in this game to get a fan something to look forward to the next season. So Jaden Ivey, Troy Brown Jr., Chimezi Metu, Jalen Duren, I think all of those guys are still ruled in. So yeah, that's the way I would look. Is plus the points here. Mark says, good morning, Chris. Good day yesterday. Ready to do it again? Yeah, we're not forcing it, but yeah, let's see what we can find. Next game up, let's go to the streets of Boston. Boston is now laying 2.5. I'm sorry, now getting 2.5 points at the crib. And this is a game I kind of feel like. So a part of me wanted to wait, and a part of me felt like I should have probably played it already. So Boston opened, I think maybe laying a point and a half. And now you see this line flip to the Knicks actually laying 2 points on the road in Boston. And the reason is because of the motivation here and because of the injury report. So you look at the Knicks. So now let's just start straight with the injury report. So the Knicks don't got anybody on the injury report. Super meaningful game for them. They still have a lot to play for, given that Currently, they're in the 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference. The New York Knickerbockers are, and hold on, I just want to double check. Yeah, they're in the 3rd seed, especially with Orlando losing. Orlando kind of face diving at the end of the season when they need to win the most. Glad I stayed away from them yesterday. But anyway, looking at the Knicks, they're in the 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference right now. But the 2nd through the 6th seed are only separated by 1.5 games with 3 games left for most of these teams. So they have a lot to play for. The Knicks could, they've already clinched a playoff spot, but I mean, they can't afford to lose if they want things to go through MSG. If they want to play at Madison Square Garden in the Mecca, they gotta win. They gotta take care of business. And Boston has nothing to play for. They got Horford, Holiday, Brown, Tatum, all listed as questionable here. And for me, I think that means you have to play the Knicks here. The Knicks are the much more motivated team, and that's the only team I would play. They play a physical brand of basketball, and the Celtics, I don't know if you guys paid attention to it, they attempted 52 threes and no free throws versus the Bucks. If that's the Bucks defense, then imagine how in a meaningless game, imagine how physical this Knicks team is going to be with the Boston Celtics today. I do think the Knicks play this game really, really hard tonight. And I think that's why you see the line flip. Like I said, Celtics open -1. The Knicks are now 2.5-point favorites. Something tells me that the Knicks win this game today. I know Boston's coming off a loss. I know that they play well at the crib. You could wait and see who gets ruled in. But if you do that, and everybody gets ruled out for the Celtics, then you're going to get a really bad number for the Knicks. I think if you're playing again, like if you want to make a play early, I think you just jump on the Knicks money line now. I think it's -135 on ESPN Bet. I would stay away from the spread. I don't think it, like I said, Boston doesn't really care about this game. Boston is 13 and a half games with 3 games left above everybody in the Eastern Conference. Like nobody, of course, is close to even catching them. But I do think, the line is pretty telling. The Celtics are getting points as the best team in the NBA at home, where they have the best record in the NBA at 35-3. So that's pretty telling. It's Knicks in this spot or nothing for this better. What are you guys seeing? Timeline 2044 says under. I'm not sure which game he's talking about. Brian says, I missed the early number, but I got the Knicks -2.5. I think that's the right side here. I didn't bet it. Did not bet it, full transparency, but it's Knicks or nothing for me here. And I should have probably jumped on the +1. What up to my guy, Fred? He says, good morning, fellas. Got in with the Mavs. Thanks, Chris. The looks for today. What about Josh Hart, rebounds and assists, Fred said? I like it. Fred. One thing Boston hasn't been doing is rebounding the ball as well. And rebounding takes effort. And we know that they're not wanting to play with too much effort right now. The Celtics are not wanting to play with too much effort right now. Real quick, let me just look at it. Let me look at it real quick, right? Let me put it into my system. So Boston and New York. So let's see. Boston is 18th in offensive rebounding, offensive rebound rate, and the Knicks are the second best offensive rebounding team over the last 2 weeks. So this makes a ton of sense to me. Yeah, this makes a ton of sense to me. I like that. I would be looking at this too for Josh Hart rebounds and assists over. All right, let's keep it pushing. Yeah, timeline says a player prop game. I could definitely see player props. I think you look at the 3-point shooters. The Boston Celtics defense has been bad from 3. I mean, we saw what the Bucks were able to do, and the Knicks defense actually hasn't been good from 3 either. Both teams really shooting the 3-point ball well right now. Boston's still first in all 3-point frequency, of course, especially when you shoot 52 of them last game. The second and above the break 3 frequency, and 6th in corner 3 frequency and accuracy, and that's been the Knicks' Achilles heel over the last 2 weeks. They're 27th in opponent corner 3 frequency and 24th in opponent corner 3 accuracy, allowing teams to shoot about 46% from the 3-point line, or the New York Knicks from the corner. So whoever's going to shoot those corner 3s for Boston should be in a good spot today, whether that's Sam Hauser, some of those starters play, or it's a guy like Peyton Pritchard off the bench. So I could definitely see this timeline. Boston needs to rest their starters, T-Money said. T-Money also said Knicks is the spot. That's true. I agree. Will says Drew Holiday just signed that big contract. What are they going to do with Tatum? Man, they're going to have to. I was talking to somebody yesterday about this. They're going to have to back the truck up for Tatum. Tatum going to be able to, they're going to have to pull out a blank check for Tatum. I don't know if they plan on going into the luxury tax or what, but Tatum got to get, like, Tatum going to get, his contract going to be bigger than Jaylen Brown. So that's an excellent point. But yeah, they did get Drew, 135, like a whole bunch of money. And it's warranted, though. Drew, I think, does help that team kind of like in the background from, he's not fancy and flashy, but the defense, the playmaking, the leadership, the way he maneuvers in the offense, the way he can knock down shots, get to the rim, settle the team down when he needs to. Yeah, Drew Holiday is still slept on and in the perfect spot that, especially for where he is in his career. He doesn't have to do too much. He's just a perfect piece for the team. Justin says, I got Knicks money line on my card. I'm going to probably bet it. Justin. I'm going to go ahead and get ahead of it. It's not going to be a heavy bet, but I am going to take the Knicks. I'm with you, Justin. Burns says, if Boston sits everybody, I'm going to be on the Knicks for sure. Will says, I think the Knicks will come out with urgency. Burns says, I took them money line already. I'll go back if the people are ruled out. Burns says, does the Knicks want the number 2 spot, though? So here's the thing, Burns. Like, if the Knicks, I don't think the Knicks going to get the number 2 spot. So if for the Knicks to get the number 2 spot, because the Knicks are 1.5 games back, and it's only 3 games left, right? So with the Bucks winning both games, with the Bucks winning last night, I don't think the Knicks going to get the number 2 spot. I think the Knicks are going to, if they win out, they'll probably they'll stay in the number 3 spot. But the Bucks do have the Magic and the Thunder on deck, so they could potentially get the number 2 spot, I guess. I'm not sure. Let's see. El Boogie says Derek White might be the odd man out contract-wise. I think that, yeah, but Derek White's a vital piece too. Like, they're going to have to figure it out, El Boogie. I'm with you there. Mark says, everyone on Boston resting. I'm down on the Knicks money line. No, they're not resting though yet. I'm always honest with you guys and, letting you guys know what I think. I think that all of those guys won't play, but they're not resting yet though. It's not official. They're just questionable. That's Horford, Holiday, Tatum, and Brown all listed as questionable. El Boogie like Peyton Pritchard threes. What up, Ryan? Appreciate you for tapping in. Boston. Brian says Boston just went up to -3. Hold on, what? They went to +3? See, this is why I gotta just lock it in before the show. Yeah, so that money line that I told you guys at -135 is gone. Knicks to play. Like I said, the line to move 4 points already. So if you like the Knicks, go ahead and get it now for those guys sit. Boston has nothing to play for here. Like I said, I just didn't bet it, but it is Boston. It's Boston for sure. I'm sorry, it's Knicks. It's Knicks for sure. Ryan says I got Dallas -4 and Magic Bucks under yesterday night. Glad you cashed those. Shay, top of the morning, says Boston head coach is garbage. Tatum played 37 minutes last game. Yeah, he's probably going to rest in this one. It's a Knicks spot. Let's keep moving. I knew it was Knicks. For me, I told you guys at the top, I just wanted to be interactive with the chat. Next game up, we got the Rockets and the Jazz. So this is the one where I kind of feel like, man, I dropped the ball for the members because this line, I don't know what the line opened at yesterday because I had such a busy afternoon and the evening, and typically I cap the games the day before. But when I saw it, the Jazz were on the money line like -150, and this was right after celebrating my birthday with my son yesterday, his birthday, and I see the news that the Jazz had ruled everybody out, so the Jazz gonna be without Colin Sexton, Clarkson, Collins, Laurie Marketing, all of those guys are ruled out. Jazz kind of threw in the towel. And I was hesitant about the Rockets' motivation here. But even with that, all that said, the Jazz not trying to win, man. This team, they punted on the season a while ago. 0-10 straight up in their last 10, 2-8 against the spread in their last 10. And Houston just played their last home game, and they did come off a emotional win. I actually think that the value here is now on the Jazz. This line has moved. It was -1. I think it opened at -1. And now you see it all the way up to 10.5. When I went to sleep last night, it was at 5. I had to update the graphic here to put it at 10.5 this morning because I woke up and was like, wow, that's crazy. And it's still moving. So it says that the line opened at 7 most places. This line was at 1.5 last night. I'm sorry, it was at 2.5 last night. So you could have got the money line like -150. I didn't even bet it. I didn't bet it, but I mean, Rockets clearly the much better team here. And if Ime Udoka is going to have these guys motivated to finish season off strong and potentially finish with, 50, 50, above 50% winning percentage for the season, then they'll take care of the Utah Jazz here. Now, do you want to bet them like at -11? I don't think so. I think you've lost the value here. And if you wanted to come in on this game, you should probably come in on the Jazz, I think, at this point. But Rockets don't have anybody on the injury report, and they can go out here and smoke this Jazz team. Now, remember, this team did just play, but the Jazz had a lot more pieces in that last game when they just played, and the Rockets only won that game by 1. This was when the Rockets were still competitive and had a chance to get to that play-in spot when they were putting the pressure on Golden State. So they won that game 101 to 100. That game was also played in Utah as well, and Jazz were getting 8 points in that spot. But like I said, Utah, they had John Collins in, they had Colin Sexton in, Chris Dunn played in that game, Walker Kessler, who won't be available tonight, played in that game. So yeah, this version of the Jazz team is not great though. Like they're actually really bad. So I am kicking myself like I woke up pretty frustrated this morning that I didn't get in on Rockets last night. I just hadn't capped the game, and I wanted to make sure the Rockets weren't gonna miss anybody. But like I said, I think the value is actually on the Jazz here. Winning by double digits in a meaningless game on the road with 2 games left on the season, I don't know if I want to trust the Rockets to do that. The Jazz were feisty against the Denver Nuggets up until the fourth quarter in that last game 2 nights ago. So yeah, I think it could be a good prop betting game as well. We know Utah's 3-point defense has been really, really bad. So looking at guys like Jalen Green, Fred VanVleet, they should be able to shoot the leather off the ball tonight in Utah. That's the only way I would be able to look is towards some of these player props to go over. But outside of that, I can't get there with laying double digits in a game that really means nothing to either one of these teams, honestly. I do think it could be a play like a pickup style game, and the over has some merit. I think this one did open at 225.5, and it's up to 227.5 now. So 2 points come in on the over already. The problem there is I know that the Rockets don't typically score as much on the road, and the Jazz, they just without so many key offensive guys that I couldn't quite get there either. The Jazz have not been able to consistently score the basketball as of late. I think their team total is like one. What was it like? One. Let me just double check it real quick. Jazz team total. I think it's like 10. No, it's 10 something. 106.5 for the Utah Jazz, and I can see them struggling to even be able to get there because the Rockets they are a defensive team. Utah just scored 95 points at home against Denver. They did get 110 against Golden State, 102 against the Clippers. But I mean, with this rotation, it's really, really difficult to trust them. So I couldn't get there towards the over, even though I could see this being an over type game. Rockets team total at 118.5. Sometimes it can just be difficult to score, points. It could be difficult to score points in Utah for whatever reason. So I stayed away from this game, but I would kind of lean maybe towards Rockets first half team total over. Potentially want to, get this game over with early. The Jazz defense is trash. But I did want to look at one more thing real quick. Is this the Jazz last home game? So this is the Jazz last home game. They, still going to play hard. A lot of these guys still fighting for contracts. So no play for me here. But I do think it's a player prop type game. Let's see what you guys are seeing. Fan First says, great call on Dallas smacking the Heat, bro. Appreciate that. Brian says, I like the Rockets. Shay says, Jalen Green might drop 50. No rim protection. That's a fact. T-Money says, Dre need to turn Jalen Green up one more time. That's funny, bro. That's funny. J-Chip says, do the Knicks really want the number 2 seed, though? Can possibly face Philly in the first round. That's tough. The Knicks seem to me like a team that's not really ducking smoke. Like I don't think the Knicks don't, in my opinion, Tom Thibodeau led team. Like I don't think they're really ducking smoke. And do we know for sure if they are the Philadelphia 76ers locked in the 7th spot? So the 2nd seed plays the 7th seed. I guess they are. Yeah, Philly. They got what? This is 9. They got 3 games left. They're probably not gonna catch the Pacers. The Pacers, a game ahead of them. So I guess potentially they could catch the Pacers. Pacers probably not gonna lose. Not gonna lose out though. Who the Pacers got left? Pacers got the Cavs and the Hawks left. That's 2 winnable games, but it's a big game versus Yeah, seeding does come into play. I don't know though, J Chip. I don't think the Knicks gonna be ducking smoke here, man. And let's just look at the Knicks schedule for the rest of the season. They got the Knicks, the Nets, and the Bulls. So yeah, I don't think they ducking smoke though. Just put it like that. Let's see. Will said, I thought about over until I saw the projected lineup, maybe a Jazz team total under. Yeah, but Will, how motivated are the Rockets to play a lot of defense here? And that's one of the things that really talked me off for the under. 106.5 is a super low total in today's NBA. And if there's going to be a fast-paced game with the Rockets running up and down the floor, shooting a ton of threes, they're not going to care about defense as much either. So that kind of talked me off. Bond asking the same thing. What about the over under 227.5? I can make, strong cases for both. And like I said, I lean more over than under. But I mean, Rockets team total at 118.5. They should be able to get there. Jazz team total 106.5. They could potentially get there as well. It's just not something I'm super confident in. So even if I wasn't played, it'd be a smaller play. Derek says, is Utah or Houston playing defense tonight? I know that Utah not playing none. They can't. Rockets, I'm not sure of. My opinion, not yours, says Van Fleet is a good assist spot here, but too bad he thinks he's light-skinned Kobe. Ryan says the Knicks don't have Julius Randle. And T Money says Rockets might play that Pacers defense tonight. I could see that. It'd be over or nothing for me. Like I said, just not confident enough to bet it though. So I didn't bet it. Stayed away from it. We got a good game on the board next, and I think this is the second to last game. We don't have too many games, which is why I kind of taking my time and going through the comments, trying to get y'all thoughts as well. So we got this is probably the game of the night. No, this is the game of the night. The New Orleans Pelicans and the Sacramento Kings, the only meaningful game that we have on the board here. So I'm going to share some notes, but I also want to plug this one into my little system and see, what it's telling me to do here. Well, not telling me to do, but just kind of read some data. So we got the Pelicans on the road. They're getting a 1-point dog here. Sacramento is back at the crib here, laying a point. The total is coming down. It opened at 218. This is going to be a playoff style game. So you got injury report first. Najee Marshall for the Pelicans listed as questionable. He didn't play in that game. And he didn't play in that game against the Portland Trailblazers the other day. And Brandon Ingram is still also out for the Pelicans. So they'll be shorthanded. But Sacramento also shorthanded. They'll still be without Malik Monk. Of course, no Kevin Huerter. And Keegan Murray is listed as questionable as well. I think he did play in that game 2 nights ago in OKC. So first leg of a back-to-back here for the Pelicans as well. They got the Golden State Warriors tomorrow. This is the third straight road game for them. They still have a ton to play for, given that they're in the 6th seed. But a loss for the Pelicans tonight would drop them to the play-in and will put Phoenix back in the number 6 seed because Phoenix did win against the Clippers last night. So a lot of moving parts there. But the Pelicans really do need this win if they want to avoid the play-in. So for Sacramento, they can't really avoid the play-in unless something crazy happens. So when I was looking at it, early this morning, you look at the spot here for Sacramento. They're in the 8th seed, and they are a game and a half behind Phoenix. So they're probably not going to catch Phoenix with just 3 games left. And that for that reason, they probably can't avoid the play-in. Of course, you still want to, play hard. This could potentially be a first-round matchup, depending on a play-in matchup, depending on how Phoenix finishes the season and how the Pelicans finish, because Pelicans do got the Golden State Warriors tomorrow. Not sure if the Warriors are going to be motivated in that spot either. But so Sacramento can't avoid the play-in unless something crazy happens. It's their first game back home after a 4-game road trip, and they've lost 3 of their last 4 games. The only win they had came against the Brooklyn Nets, which we were on that game, but that was against a non-playoff caliber team. I think it's a Pelican spot, man. You can look at it a couple different ways, though. The Pels are 7-3 straight up and against the spread versus the Kings in the last 10 head-to-head matchups. Pels have won all 4 meetings this season, and all 4 of those games they actually won as a dog. And they're dog again. So you could say that Sacramento they own Sacramento, or you could say Sacramento is in a quadruple revenge spot here. I just think that, and I said this a couple of days ago, like a week ago now, that the injury to Malik Monk was going to catch up to the Sacramento team, and I think that it absolutely has. When they've been playing against like really good competition, they really struggled. And both of these teams are kind of the walking wounded right now with injuries to key players on both sides. But to see them run out of gas, to see Sacramento run out of gas the way that they did, in OKC. They end up losing that game by 7 points, and they went into it with a fourth quarter lead. Outscored by 10 points in the fourth quarter, 28-18. To me, that just doesn't give me a lot of hope for Sacramento. Like, it feels like this season is, finally, starting to come crashing down without Malik Monk going into the playoffs. So I know that they're going to be super motivated in this spot, but I think, with no Malik Monk, no Brandon Ingram, I think the Pels are the better team here. I do think it's going to be a defensive style game, though, because no Malik Monk means you get, Keon Ellis and a lot of Davion Mitchell. But who's slowing down, not Brendan, who's slowing down Zion in this game? I think that's going to be the key. And I think the Pelicans are the much more physical team here. If I had to play the game, it would be Pelicans. It would definitely be Pelicans. But I didn't play the game yet, in full transparency. Let me see what you guys are saying here. DMP, what up, my brother? He says, what up, Chris? I'm late, but I'm here. Coffee and Cappin. Appreciate that, my brother. Yeah, Ryan says Malik Monk is out. Justin says, I moved on Pelicans under 218.5 last night. I think that's the look here, Justin. Both of these teams could struggle to score. Pelicans, their defense could be so wishy-washy at times, though. I thought they were going to hold the Portland Trailblazers under 99.5 in their last game. And granted, that was a meaningless game, but they struggled there. They did hold Phoenix to 105 points. So when they really want to strap in and lock in, they definitely can. And we know Sacramento's offense has been struggling. They've been much more of a defensive team over the last 2 weeks. So, they only scored 105 against OKC. They scored 107 against Brooklyn. Granted, they didn't need to score that many points there. They scored 100 against Boston, only 109 to the Knicks, 109 to the Clippers. So, this offense has not looked as great recently at all. Outside of the 127 they dropped against Utah, which, Utah still was depleted. They haven't scored 110 points in any of their games. So this is a really good look here, Justin. I agree. Playoff style basketball, total already down a point. I could definitely see the under casher here. Definitely can see the under. So I'm going to go through the comments real quick, and I'm going to plug this in real quick. Sheeny says, fly, Pelicans, fly. Derek says, Alvarado and Keegan Murray, most important players on the injury report. If Murray is out, I like the Pels. My opinion, not yours, says feels like a rebound prop game. Kings defense makes me want to fade any Pelicans points player. Points over. I can see that. What up, Jamie? He says late as well, but still on time. Great read on the Mavs last night. Bond says, appreciate you, Jamie. Bond says the Pels are safe from the play-in, so I think the Kings want this game. Pels are not safe from the play-in, Bond. I don't understand how you think the Pels are safe from the play-in. They are half a game above Phoenix with 3 games left. So if they lose this game, then if the Pels lose tonight, they have the same record. They'll be 47-33, and Phoenix definitely owns the tiebreaker. Devin Booker had 30 points against his team every game except the last one that they played in New Orleans. So, in Phoenix. So that's incorrect, man. Celtics or Knicks, sold them. And Willie, you got to go back and listen to the cat, man. We already broke the game down, but it's definitely a Knicks spot. You can go back and listen to it, though. Knicks all the way, Ryan says. Soul says, I got the Celtics. Best of luck. He says they need a win after the Bucks lost. They don't need a win. So, the Bucks, the Boston Celtics don't need a win until whoever they play in the first round. Like this team, the reason why they lost to the Bucks is because they didn't need a win. They could beat the Bucks. Like that's funny though. Will says teams coming back home off a long road trip, typically a fade spot, but this team has been oddly winning lately in the same spot. I agree there, Will. They have been doing well. Mark says he took the under 218 last night. Brian says Pels Sacramento under 217 this morning. Jake says Magic screwed me, but love the show. Should just wait for the playoffs. I haven't placed the bet. I have not placed the bet. Like you said, just kind of waiting for the playoffs at this point. I don't want to give my money back. We finally back up 40 units for the season. If you've been, with me throughout the season, not trying to give it all back. So it says Pels or Sacramento. Who you got? Celtics gonna come to play, boy. Okay, they may. I hope you check the injury report. So. Ryan says Magic game was a trap. Everyone was on the Magic. Not me. Ryan says he liked the Pels. Soul says he got the Pels. And AB says Warriors and Lakers are locked into the play. And that's a fact. That's a fact. Those teams are locked into the playoffs. So real quick, I'm gonna do this real quick so we can get to the last game. Last game is a kind of meaningless game. We got the Warriors and the who the Warriors playing? They're playing the Pelicans. I mean, they're playing the Portland Trailblazers. So I want to look into this real quick, and I want to do it on the live cap. I want to do it real quick while I'm on before I jump off of here, and just look at Sacramento's offense to see how they match up against this Pelicans defense. Just from an analytical perspective, last 2 weeks, I like looking at last 2 weeks numbers. So Sacramento's offense is 22nd rated. We just talked about them not being great. So bottom 10 in points scored, only scoring 111 points per 100 possessions. They're actually shooting the ball at the third worst effective field goal percentage rate. They are doing a good job of protecting the ball, only 7th in turnover rate, 5th in offensive rebound rate. They've been a great offensive rebounding team. So if the Pelicans can limit them from getting second chance shots on the glass, that'll be great. And New Orleans defense is allowing the 11th fewest rebounds, so they've been doing well in that department. Sacramento not getting to the free throw line, shooting the 4th fewest free throws over the last 2 weeks. And the Pelicans defense, not been the greatest. Points allowed, 17th at 113.5 per 100 possessions. Actually allowing teams to shoot the 6th highest field goal percentage, effective field goal percentage over the last 2 weeks. They are forcing the 6th most turnovers, though. So you got a Sacramento team that's doing a really good job protecting the ball, and the Pelicans team that is doing a really good job of taking the ball from their opponent. Pelicans also not allowing teams to shoot a bunch of free throws. 7 fewest free throws over the last 2 weeks. You flip it and look at the Pelicans offense, 19th in points scored per 100 possessions last 2 weeks, about 112 per 100 possessions. They're 25th in effective field goal percentage, so they've also struggled to score. They're 2nd in turnover rate, so they're not turning the ball over at all. And the Sacramento not forcing a lot of turnovers, 23rd in opponent turnover percentage. Offensive rebounding rate, Pelicans are 23rd, so they're not getting a ton of offensive rebounds. Sacramento have been one of the better rebounding teams. They're actually 5th, so allowing the 5th fewest offensive rebounds for their opponent. The Pelicans are number 1 in free throw rate, though. They're shooting the most free throws over the last 2 weeks. In Sacramento, that's been a problem for them. They're fouling a lot. 25th, so that means opponents are shooting the 5th most free throws against this team. So if I continue looking at Sacramento's offense versus the Pelicans defense as far as shot zones, Sacramento's been shooting a bunch of threes from the corner. They're actually number 1 in frequency over the last 2 weeks, 13th in accuracy. The New Orleans defense is giving that shot up a lot. 5th most corner threes allowed, but they are 12th in opponent corner 3 accuracy, allowing teams to shoot about 35.5%. Also, Sacramento's been shooting a bunch of above the break threes and just threes in general. They're 6th in above the break 3 frequency, 11th in accuracy. And looking at the Pelicans, they're allowing teams to shoot the most threes from above the break. Like they're 30th in opponent 3-point frequency, 19th in accuracy. So they haven't been doing a really good job of defending the 3-point line at all. And all of this, I mean, y'all can take this with a grain of salt because, I mean, when the playoffs start, and I think it's going to be play like a playoff-style game, you can really start throwing some of these numbers away. But I do like to have them as a part of my cap. Offense, let's see, transition. Sacramento 6th in frequency, 5th in points scored. That should not be there. New Orleans is 5th in opponent transition frequency. So they're doing a really good job of limiting teams from getting out and running in transition. And they are 12th in opponent points scored per 100 possessions via the transition bucket. So I don't see a lot of advantages unless Sacramento can get hot from 3 on the offensive side of the ball for them here. Sacramento, like I said, shooting a ton of threes, and the Pelicans are giving up a ton of threes. So that's what you kind of hope for if you like the Kings in this spot. So if we flip it and look at the New Orleans offense versus Sacramento's defense, New Orleans is putting a ton of pressure on the rim. They are taking the 7th most shots at the rim, but not shooting it at the greatest percentage. The 26th in rim accuracy, and then the other shots are coming at the paint. So either at the rim, which is like a layup or a dunk, or in the paint is like non-restricted areas, so like within 5 feet of the rim. 5th in paint frequency, 27th in accuracy though. So they're not doing a really good job of scoring the basketball at all. They're taking all their shots at the rim and in the paint, but they're not making them. 26th and 27th in rim accuracy in that department. Not shooting the three at all. Like they're not shooting threes as much at all lately. 21st in corner three frequency, 16th in above the break three frequency, and 22nd in overall three frequency. So they haven't been really shooting the ball from the perimeter. Sacramento's defense has been solid pretty much in a lot of those departments. They're second in opponent paint accuracy, which doesn't bode well for this New Orleans Pelicans team, being that they've been shooting a bunch of their shots there. And they're also first in opponent rim frequency. So their teams are shooting the least amount of shots against the Sacramento Kings over the last 2 weeks at the rim. Sacramento 16th in opponent rim accuracy. So transition-wise, the Pelicans aren't really running. They're 21st in frequency via transition last 2 weeks. 15th in points scored per possessions in that department. Sacramento's defense has been excellent versus transition. So they're second in opponent frequency, transition frequency, and second in opponent points per possession as well. So they've done a really good job. This does feel like an under spot. Shout out to Justin. I know a lot of people said they looked at the under. This feels like an under spot. Both of these teams really struggling to score the basketball. Maybe you just look towards the under. I do think it's a Pels spot, though. I think the Pels can win the game. Let's see what you guys are seeing here since I did all that. I feel like I did just do a lot. Tariq, what up, my brother? Appreciate you for tapping in. He's just driving to work, listening. Good luck to all. Shay says, please don't bet the Celtics. PZ says, Suns' first quarter last night was gruesome. That's a fact. Brian says, Phoenix first half was a killer. Pissed me off. I told y'all I was off Phoenix, man. They won only because Clippers kind of ran out of gas in the fourth quarter. Celtics will play a good portion of starters. They could. They need momentum going in against a good team before the playoffs. Maybe so. Maybe. Giannis compromise equals easier versus Bucks going forward. Lingowick says Pistons, Knicks, Jazz, Trailblazers, Kings. AB says Pels will out CJ on Keon Ellis, and Fox will have to deal with Herb Jones. Give me Fox unders in M's Pels money line. Kings are not good as a home favorite. That is a fact. They do not play well as a home favorite. What else y'all saying? Tariq says, can we apply the Pels first half method here? Because it's a playoff style game, Tariq. Yeah, I think so. They run out of gas and may be late in this game. So I think that's absolutely in play. Will says the line doesn't seem short to you. I feel the Pels should be favorite. I don't think in Sacramento they should be favorite. We got to remember they're without Brandon Ingram. And I told you guys at the top of the cap that the Pels have won 7 of the last 10 head-to-head matchups against the Sacramento Kings. They beat them 4 times this season as well. And every single game, they were a dog. The first game of the season, the Pels were getting 2 points. They won the game by 36. The second time they played, which was 2 days later, the Pels were getting a point and a half. And both of those games were in New Orleans. They won that game by 5. The third time was in Sacramento. The Pels were getting 3.5. They won that game by 10. That was on December 4th. The fourth time they played was January the 7th. The Pels were getting 4.5 points in Sacramento. They won that game by 33. So they've kind of dominated this team. And now you have no Malik Monk. It's Pels or nothing for me here. I take the better team, and I feel like they're the better team even without Brandon Ingram here. And Keegan Murray listed as questionable. And Justin says, the more it goes down, the more confidence I have in the under. I couldn't talk you off, Justin. Don't let me talk you off, my brother. I'll be right there with you if I was playing it. So last game on the board. So, yes, I like the under as well, and I do like the Pels, but I didn't bet it. Last game, Warriors and the Blazers, plus 14. This line was at 14.5 last night. And, of course, it's come down. And I think this is a game where this is the game I actually like the over in as well. So it's 2 overs I would play today. I would play this over. I didn't bet them, full transparency. I'll play this over in the Rockets and the Jazz, but it was too many conflicting things. I had some strong trends on the totals to go over today in these 2 games. But the Warriors seem like, just injury report wise, that they might not be locked in for this game. I saw Clay and Draymond listed as questionable, and it's the first leg of a back-to-back for them. They got the New Orleans Pelicans tomorrow, and that game will be played in Golden State. For Golden State, they still have a chance to get to the 9th seed though. Right now they're still in 10th. They're behind the Lakers in the Western Conference play-in spot. And if they get to 9, they only half a game behind the Lakers. If they get to 9, they would host the play-in spot versus having to go to LA to play the play-in spot. And I don't know how significant that is. Golden State's been playing much better on the road than they have at home. They actually beat the Lakers last 2 times in LA. But AD didn't play in either one of those games. I think he might have got hurt in the first game and didn't come back. And then, of course, he missed the last one because he got poked in his eye or he's had a headache or something. So this is a big game. I think Golden State does want to win the game. Do they want to cover by margin on the first leg of a back-to-back with the Pelicans tomorrow? I'm not quite sure. Not quite sure. For Portland, this team, you could say that they've given up on the season, but they've still been playing competitive basketball. You got Simons out. You got Grant out already. I think Aiden is going to be in. And you could say that they've been playing competitive basketball, or you could say that they've been getting a ton of points. Second game back home after that road trip, they did cover against the New Orleans Pelicans in the last game. They've actually covered 4 of their last 5, or I think it's 3 of their last 4, and they had a push against Boston when they were getting 17 points in Boston over, I think it was last Friday, which tell me, like I said, they're still playing hard and they're getting too many points. So I think this could be a pickup style game. Warriors probably don't bring their best defense in this game with a game tomorrow. Portland team total is like 102.5. I think they could get there. Warriors should be able to score at will, especially if Draymond doesn't play. Like I said, he's listed as questionable. If he doesn't play, that's going to be a lot less defense out there. Now, Draymond does impact the offense as well, but that's a lot less defense out there. This total, it feels like a tad bit too low. So if I'm playing this game, I would only be able to bet the over. Don't think that Golden State wants to win this game by 15 points with a game tomorrow against the Pelicans. I just could see them, being a little lackadaisical on the defensive end in this spot specifically. So it would be over if I had to bet this one. Staying away from the side. Golden State could win this game by double digits. I'm just not in. I'm not into laying 15 points in a meaningless game on the road for the Golden State Warriors on the first leg of a back-to-back. So let's see what you guys are saying here. Zulu says, Pistons money line calling my name. Fred says, what about the over in this spot? Yeah, the over in this game, Fred, would be the way I would play it. So it says no chance Celtics doesn't play any starters tonight. He's so I hope you got some bread on it. So he liked the Celtics tonight in a meaningless game, but don't let me talk you off, my brother. Mark says, thinking of doing the same game parlay, a small parlay for the Pels and the under. Tariq says it's definitely a live betting game. And Soul says got Golden State. Maybe, bro, Golden State more locked in on Pels. Good insight. Golden State first half for Tariq. That makes a lot of sense for them. Just want to go ahead and get the game over with. But monitor the injury report, man. I could honestly see Steph sitting out this game. Like he could pop up on the injury report. Remember, when you play Portland games, they don't start until 10:30 Eastern Standard Time, and it's a lot of jankiness going on in the NBA with the injury report, man. So definitely want to, this game started at 10 o'clock on True TV. It looks like. Yeah. So yeah, monitor the injury report. I wouldn't play the game early. And Clay also popped up on the injury report. That I didn't like that for the over, which is why I didn't bet it, because I want his 3-point shooting out there if I want to take the over. But Golden State still should be able to score the ball. I do agree. I do believe that. Let's see. Under, AB says Golden State going to rest and Blazers are 5th in lottery standing, but could get to 3rd. Shadow says, what do you think about Aiden points and rebounds over? Don't let me talk you off. I know that, Golden State's been one of the better rebounding teams in the league throughout the season, especially throughout the second half of the season when they've been kind of going in this, must-win mode. But I could see them, slightly, not locked in this spot specifically. If Draymond doesn't play, you still got, Trace Jackson Jr. out there, though. He's a hell of a rebounder. Kuminga rebounds the ball well. So, don't let me talk you off, though. Don't let me talk you off. Fred, does anybody like Kuminga props here? I'll be looking at Kuminga. I think that's a good cap there, Fred. I don't think, especially if Draymond doesn't play, he's the young guy, right? Young bull. Go out there and get the work done tonight so we can beat the Pels tomorrow. I agree. Fred says, Chris, you got to cap MLB, bro. We're going to miss you after the NBA. I do cap MLB, Fred. I just don't do daily shows. I stopped, like I took a little break last year. I stopped capping it, but I know how to cap MLB. I was doing shows a couple years ago. So I doubt I'd do it this year. I will be doing WNBA though, Fred. I don't know if you tapped into the WNBA, bro. WNBA is fire. I'm so looking forward to Caitlin Clark on the Fever. Seeing if the Aces can run it back. Like I love the WNBA, but it's way more competitive than the NBA in my opinion. So I'll be doing WNBA shows. Probably not every single day because their schedule be so janky. They put like 10 games on one day and then have no teams playing on the next day. But we'll get WNBA shows for sure. You guys will get WNBA from me. Let's see. And that's it. Like I said, I didn't bet a play today. I see Bond says, I think the Warriors spread on this one. Best of luck if you bet it, Bond. I'm not laying that big number, but they could blow Portland out, absolutely. And you guys see the top plays, none for me today. But I'll go through all of them real quick if you join late. And I'm probably going to add the Knicks. Like I said, I do like the Knicks. I think it's a meaningless game for Boston. Knicks do need that win. So they can at least get home court advantage. Like losing could drop them out of home court advantage. It's that tight in the Eastern Conference. So Chicago, Detroit, I'll be taking the points with Detroit. Last home game, Chicago needs to win. Kind of, sort of. They need it for their confidence, but I don't know if it's going to be by double digits. If you wait for Detroit, Cade probably going to get ruled out. So you got to play it last minute. But if you wait for Detroit, you probably going to get a better number with Cade being ruled out. And they can still, I think they can keep the game within 10 without Cade. Either way, I like Detroit plus the 9.5. Didn't bet it. New York, Boston. I do like the New York Knickerbockers in that spot. I wouldn't lay the 3. I would just take them on the money line. Like I said, it was minus 135 before we started the show on ESPN Bet was the best number I think I saw. Houston, Utah. I think I look towards the over, and I think the value is now probably on Utah plus the 10.5. Remember, I told you guys it's open at 2.5 last night. I just missed the best of the number. New Orleans and Sacramento, it'd be over. I'm sorry, not over. It'd be under for me. Total still dropping down to 217 now, open to 218. And I do think New Orleans wins the game. I do think it's a New Orleans spot. Golden State, Portland, like I said, wanted to get there with the over. And that line is still coming down to 13.5. So money coming in on Portland. This was at 14.5 yesterday. I see it dropping currently. And like I said, wanted to get there on the over. But without Clay, don't know if I'm going to be able to get there. I want his three-point shooting to be a part. So that's the show, man. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. I hope you guys have a great day. If you could but before I say that, here are the resources that I use to handicap the game. If anybody's interested, check these stats, these websites out. Definitely make you a better capper every single day. And if you found the show helpful, man, do me a favor, hit the like button for me if you can. If you haven't subscribe to the channel as well. Turn the notification bell on, share the show, all that good stuff is always appreciated. The ChrisBeCappinn community is strong. It's growing every single day. And I appreciate y'all for tapping in, sharing advice, coming with angles and looks as well. There's some sharp cappers in the chat. Some people not sharp, but it's definitely some sharp cappers in the chat, man. Bet responsibly, whatever you bet. Take it light because, we are at that point of the season where these games are meaningless to a lot of these teams. And they got the trips lined up. They can't wait to go to Cabo. 1, 2, 3 Cancun is definitely in full effect here, man. So bet responsibly. Best of luck on all the games. And I'm not sure if I'm going to do an evening show or not. I know it's 150 games tomorrow, so I might just get ahead for the evening for tomorrow, but potentially could do an evening show. Just turn the notification bell on, and I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. I'm out.